All right, PKN episode 130. How you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
great.
Yes.
I
Taylor and I have moved in together. This is our new apartment.
I, as you can see, got the worst room.
Yeah, it's pretty cramped. He sleeps on the floor back there. You can't see it, but there's a pile of old clothes.
He's forbidden all posters or what he calls individual art. That's to be frowned upon in this home. It's a
Very
lot of us,
fast.
but no identity.
It's a very fascist regime, but the rent is low.
Yeah, free. No.
So
not that.
since we've been here, Taylor brought his magic cards.
people don't know
And-
you guys went on vacation in Denver.
Yeah. So we're in Denver, and Taylor brought his magic cards, and I'd never played Magic before, but he brought these dual decks, which basically make it so that you don't need a huge amount of cards. They're already set up for like multiplayer play, and they kind of do away with the card collecting aspect of the game. It's just like these are good to fight against each other with. And we played the first night, I think. We sat there in those chairs for 9 hours. 9 hours straight without moving.
I think the legal marijuana may have helped with the sitting amount of time. That we were able to just sit there and do nothing.
9 hours.
9 hours.
We
You
Not
guys
do nothing,
turned
play a lot
magic
of
into
magic.
Civ.
Yeah.
No, we played many games as I was like learning to play, and yeah, we played like 9 hours straight, and then the next day we played maybe 6 or 7 hours straight, and then
Quite a
today we
bit.
probably played 3 hours worth today, and it got to the point where we were like, we should go to Walmart and just buy some fucking magic cards, right? Should we just have a whole bunch of them? And so like here we are, grown men. Like the only other people in that aisle at Walmart was this tiny little lad who came up to like my breastbone or something, and he's like getting some Yu-Gi-Oh cards or some shit, and I'm walking out of there with like this. They can't see, but like my hands heavingly full of these fucking Magic the Gathering cards, and we're going back home and like cracking them open and like opening decks and looking for nice cards. So we have full on gotten addicted to Magic. It's
You're picking
really
it
fun.
up really quick though. Like
Yeah,
there was a couple of really aggravating games where you could tell after we did the draft in the beginning where you have to
Yeah, because
make
I
your
didn't
own
understand
deck.
the purpose of the draft.
Like
yeah.
we were halfway through it and we were like, I was asking like, Kyle, what's your strategy looking like? You gonna go white, red, blue, what color? And you were like, I was supposed to be thinking about colors. And I was like, yeah, man, like what else would you be doing? But I was like, all right, I guess he's
I
new.
was
It
just
doesn't
picking
make
the
sense.
good ones.
Yeah, and so the whole first game was you just being like, I don't have anything to play that. I can't. This is just a pile of. And then at one point, you were complaining about not getting any land, and we realized that Kyle wasn't playing from a deck at all. He had started drawing from another pile of cards sitting nearby, and so of course nothing was working. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. Magic is great. It's
But
not
since
the
then, I've
coolest
won-
thing to be buying.
I
but
pretty
it's-
much got it down now. I think I certainly don't understand every single card interaction and special ability and how they work and all that stuff. But I got the basics of the game down. I really like it. I've been having a lot of fun. But I'm almost glad that like the online version of Magic isn't as liked as much, because I think it's better that I only play this when I'm with other people. This shouldn't be an online thing. It's so much more satisfying to have the cards and play them, I think.
Yeah, it's fun. It's more fun to physically have it, so you can kind of feel like the fuck you. Like, nope. Like the first thing Kyle did when he was playing, like if you don't play Magic, you know that blue is kind of the color of control and assholes, and people who just get more pleasure from making you fail than their own success in a way. And you played that deck, and you're like, oh, this is all about me. I'm loving this. Nope. Oh, you want to play that? Counter. No. Put it back. Oh, I see your sad face. Like that's what it does. But
Yeah, it's a real troll deck. I like that a lot. Yeah.
yeah, we're having a blast. So, Woody, you've been sick.
Oh,
You sound pretty
Oh,
congested.
really?
dude, you have.
I haven't been on Skype.
Yesterday,
You have
I
a
was like,
1-800 flu.
yesterday I was like, if I sound like this, I might ask to postpone the show because I was just completely hoarse and phlegmy and disgusting. This is the best I've sounded in quite some time, and but I'm weak. I'm tired. I every so often I'm like, you know what? I'm done being sick. Fuck this. I get up. I make it to like the kitchen, and I'm like, fuck that. No, I want to lay
Man,
back
that
down.
sucks.
You try to will yourself to being better.
That
Like
was
in what was that movie, Gattaca or whatever it was, where the guy
Yes.
can't go to space, and so he has to like act like he can run 10 miles in the morning. It's like you can't. Your heart's fucked. Stop pretending.
Fake it until you make it. Got it.
In the end,
Shit.
that movie just shows that if you're a stubborn asshole who disobeys the rules and you find one crooked doctor, you can sabotage $1 trillion space mission.
No, that's not what it shows. It shows that you never let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do because they don't know what's
Sometimes
really
they
on
should.
the inside, and that's all that matters. You might have more fire in you. You might be able to push yourself farther than the guy who's got the perfect body and the perfect heart and all that stuff. I love fucking Gattaca. That swimming scene where like his brother who's like genetically engineered is swimming with him and he's like, I don't understand. How can you do this? Because the game is you swim out to sea until one of you gives up and you turn around to go back. Bearing in mind you have to get back to shore, because you're swimming out to sea. So you have to calculate that. You have to be like, whoa, I'm at like 49.9% of my total strength here. We need to turn around. And he won't stop. He's just and the guy's like, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? He's like, I don't save anything for the trip back. It's great. It's so great.
I love Gattaca too. And by the way, I'll mention the difference between Gattaca and me is that guy's successful at denying his problems, whereas I just succumb to them 30 seconds into it. But anyway, the swim scene I didn't like. One, they're not very good swimmers. That's a thing. Two,
Looks great to me.
I couldn't
They're
tell.
pumping. They're
I'll
pumping so
circle
hard.
back on that. But like Mirka, like
That's
if you would have
future
watched,
swimming.
I'll catch up to that. But like it just didn't make any. Like I never saved any for the way back. Well, clearly he got back all these times. Like that is the one
No.
line in the movie
What he meant was he never even considered it. He just gave whatever it took to get there, and then that was secondary. He never even considered it. It wasn't that he was like purposefully using every ounce of strength he had. He was just going for the win, and if he got back, he got back. But that wasn't that wasn't his primary concern. Primary concern, winning. Secondary concern,
surviving.
surviving. Yeah.
The thing is that, I mean, he literally did outswim his brother every time. Like you can't just be like, well, you know what, I just gave it all I got. How are you
Not every
beating
time.
me all
That was
this
the only
time?
time.
Only
No,
the
that was
one
the
time.
only time. That was the only time he'd ever done it.
Oh, in my head.
That's why the
Yeah.
brother was shocked. He's like, "How are you doing this?" Because every time throughout their childhood, the genetically superior brother had beaten him time and time again.
Oh, well, I don't remember
So it was
it
like-
right then. I guess
So it was like a moment of reckoning. It was big. That's a good movie.
it is a good movie. Gattaca's outstanding.
Yes.
We
Oh,
got,
and on the
we got-
swimming thing, Taylor, I'm sure if you watched a guy took a slap shot that had really never taken a slap shot before, didn't have it developed, you would instantly be like, that guy's a non-hockey player. I watched Justin Bieber play, right? And while he's out there with NHL guys looking like he's not, the guy played hockey. He could skate, he could handle a puck, he could.
Yeah, he's Canadian. They can all play.
Yeah, it's in the DNA. And I was like, oh, look at that, Justin Bieber can play hockey. You instantly see a guy who's played or not played.
Did you immediately like him a little more?
Oh
Bieber?
well, I mean,
liked him since his
I knew he
last
was
album.
Canadian, and so I liked him some because I like Canada. And then seeing him in the All-Star game, I'm like, oh, that's neat because most celebrities don't like the NHL; they like the NBA. So when you see like the NBA All-Star game, it'll be like fucking Jay-Z, Beyonce, whoever else is relevant. And then the NHL All-Star game is like some really famous dude from Russia, and then Justin Bieber, I guess, and then a bunch
Michael
of
J. Fox
celebrities
back
that
when
you-
he could move around.
He's not a
He's
great player
great at
at
moving
this
around
point.
now.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. It's
Yeah,
really
he
his
never-
core competency.
He's their goalie.
the
You never know
best
where to
at it.
shoot. He's just all over the place.
Michael Crazy Hands Fox.
That's a very like turn of the century kind of name for a professional athlete. Like I'm convinced that in 1904 you could break into any professional league on the planet if you just like when you went into you found like maybe a table next to the team owner, and you just had one guy across from you throw a fight and just stand up and be like, I guess that's why they call him, never give up Willie or whatever the fuck. He's like, yeah, that's the kind of spirit we need on our team. Come over here, sign a contract. 5 wheat pennies a week, and all you can eat, and play for the Yankees, and that kind of thing. Like you didn't actually have to be athletic to be a professional athlete until like 1930, 1940. Up until then, it was just people who were like, man, we have a lot
Willing
more.
to play.
Yeah, harvests have been great recently. What are we going to do with the other half of the year? Like, why don't you take up a professional baseball, hon? You should love it. That one guy from New York's doing great.
You're
Anyway.
great at beating all the Jews with that stick you have.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we
can
got
tell
ripped.
how sick you are. You're totally. Ugh.
I'm so sorry. I hope I'm not disgusting on the mic. I'm like, I
No,
hope
you're
these
good.
guys.
I like it. It's sexy. I feel like we got ripped off last night at that restaurant. We went to this restaurant that was highly touted as a good spot to go because it's the oldest restaurant in Denver. It was called
Like Buckhorns.
yeah, like the Buckhorn,
Buckaroo.
something like that. Anyway, they've got like dead animals all over the walls, like zebra, like mountain lions, just dozens and dozens of dead animals, and their big selling
even from
point.
that genre of place where it's like you know when you go into TGI Fridays and you're a little bit stressed out because it's like, oh my god, there's like too many license plates and cuckoo clocks glued to the wall. Like it was that feeling, but with dead animal heads, where it was like, we get it, you hunt.
Dozens of dead animals everywhere.
Were they all
skins hung on
impressive
their-
dead animals?
They
Yes,
were
every
yeah,
one of
some
them.
of them.
There was a
were-
two-headed goat. Like it's one head but two faces attached and looking like looking away like a conjoined
Oh.
head. That was shot and the head was mounted.
Can-
There was a zebra, elephants, everything.
Do you have a level of confidence on how real they were? Like, would you be able to tell?
100%. The deal is that all of the animals in there, all of them were killed by the family that still owns this restaurant ever since the 1800s.
Yep.
What did that
It's
dentist
family
from
owned.
Michigan kill? Was it a lion?
He killed
Yeah.
Cecil the lion.
Yeah.
But like Kyle was saying about this
There was
being
a lioness.
family owned, like it's been family owned for generations. And so I think that we got the shitty cousin of a waitress that they can't fire because she's part of the family, but she gets to just ruin the reputation because I'll let you continue, Kyle, because you started it. But our waitress, I was not happy. Not happy with that.
My two meals were $143, and I just didn't feel like I got that $143 worth of food. I think I got like elk and buffalo, and like a baked potato.
You're
and,
forgetting for appetizers, we got rattlesnake. It just was rattlesnake and alligator tail. And so it was like, these are fun things. These are new things that'll be fun to try. We can, at least, try it. And we ordered rattlesnake, and it comes out diced up, like chipped chicken almost in just a cheese dip with a bunch of chips. And it was like, maybe this is being pedantic, but if you sell me rattlesnake, that's unacceptable to deliver it in a way that I can't tell it's
coiled
rattlesnake.
up. I want it
That's part of
coiled
the fun.
up.
I want
And
it
I
coiled.
want it
were
coiled
eating
up
it.
and sliced like a sushi roll,
Yeah.
and we each grab a bite, dip it in a spicy like Southwest sauce, and that is how you serve
Yeah.
rattlesnake.
I'm
It
thinking
tasted so
here.
similar, dipping and getting it on there and eating it. When I tried it, I was like, I could be just a fool. Like, this could be chicken. If you gave this to me and didn't tell me this is a snake, I would have thought it was chicken and in a cheese dip. And then the
that's what-
alligator tail, oh my God. I ordered this right after we got the rattlesnake. And I was like, all right, well, we got to try something fun. Alligator tail. If this doesn't come as an alligator tail, I'm going to be so upset. I wanted just like an alligator tail to cut pieces off of. And, it didn't have to be a big one, just a little alligator. I'm not picky. And then they brought it out, and it looked just like calamari. It was just, I guess, sinewy strips of alligator tail that they fried. And
It tasted
so
exactly
disappointing.
like calamari. You even dipped it in
Tough
cocktail
calamari.
sauce. I am 90% sure, because she did mention calamari in the same breath, that she fucked up and brought us calamari. I do not think we ate alligator tail. I'm
The thing
sorry.
is,
to say.
I had alligator like a month ago, and
Similar?
it's like deep fried, and I expected it. I don't know why I thought it was going to be in like the steak family because it's like a big, strong animal, but it's more like in the fish family.
yeah,
Alligator
it's
is.
in the reptile family.
Well,
which,
I guess I'm talking
yeah,
about
usually-
food groupings.
Reptile
I don't
means
eat any
kind of
other
like-
reptiles.
nope,
Yeah.
there's a reason people don't
But
eat
I was like,
reptiles.
it's kind of fishy. It's like I wanted to eat it and say, oh, it's just like chicken, because that's what everyone who has no sense of humor says. And it wasn't. It wasn't like chicken at all. It was really kind of a tougher, sinewy fish.
And also, the meal we got, like the size of, so you could get like platters with a bunch of different kinds of meats, and I got quail and elk, and they gave me a piece of elk that was so small that like at a real steakhouse, if that amount of meat had fallen off the plate on the way to get it delivered to you, they'd be like, whatever, fuck it, it's still fine. It's still plenty of meat to give to the customer, and like, it was such a tiny amount. And then the little two quails that I had looked
They look
like
so pathetic.
flayed men, little poor little quail.
Well, at least
were-
they look
to be
like
fair,
quail.
Yeah, they were delicious. They were very good. But other than that, I wasn't happy with it.
I felt so far sorry for this quail because someone had to kill that tiny little bird that they served you to eat. Basically, I really felt like we got overcharged just for looking at those dead animals, and we ate another meal after that. I think
I have
didn't
a
we?
plan. So next time we take a different sort of vacation instead of Colorado and Magic. I come and I will keep the wait staff in line. It's what I do.
Oh. We were. I feel like they were all. I feel like Taylor was shocked that I did not tip that waitress. But I did not feel like she deserved a tip. I felt like she was an absentee waitress. She wasn't there most of the time. And when I went to pay the check, she hands you the check. I said, I'll pay this right now. 1 second. And I start counting out bills. I'm counting her tip, right?
Right.
She walks the fuck away. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I got some ones. I can pay exactly. I can do exact change. And she brought me a dime back. And I was like, thank you.
That is annoying. Like
You
when
should really? I
one
think
of
it would have
those
been better
times-
if you pushed the dime back.
No. I wanted the dime. I wanted to make sure she didn't get that dime. Like
But
just so
you're-
you know, that dime's
You're
mine.
right about that. You know that feeling like when they give you the check and you go like this to be like last night. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my credit card out and give it to you, and you're like right here, and they're speed walking away. Where you're like, well, hold on, Jesus fuck, like that, take it real quick. Like we told you we want to leave because you've been standing here ignoring us. I tried to flag her down. Like right after we ordered the snake, and she walked right by me, and I guarantee everybody
She said-
saw me.
We sat there for half an hour before we got drinks, I think. So yeah, I didn't feel like she deserved a tip. I felt like she was a subpar waitress, so she was going to get no extra monies from me, especially when it was already $143 for like 2 tiny pieces of meat. So that's how that went down.
So
Sure we'll-
it just goes to show that, and I was thinking about this the night when we were eating there as well, is that this is a restaurant, because it's the oldest one in Denver, they didn't ever have to earn that title. So there was, in 1908, they were probably still serving food. The owners were out hunting for fun. They just staff it with whoever in the family they can run the place, and they just serve kind of okay food, but they get by on the fact that they're the oldest restaurant in Denver. We're 20 years old. Nobody else is older than 19, and they're still doing it today. We got suckered in because there's a lot of dead animals on the wall,
How are
and
your
then they
drinks?
didn't even serve us real snakes.
You didn't like a drink either. You got a gigantic $20 beer, and immediately
Didn't end up drinking it. It was not
didn't
good.
want that.
Oh,
Yeah, that
that
sucks.
sucks.
But that's the way she goes. They didn't brew that beer. I picked it
She
out.
goes,
I
Bob.
thought, it's got cherries. That sounds good. And then it was
Yeah.
not at all. It was horrible.
I would have made the same decision.
Yeah.
And the worst part is we did, of course, at that place have the options to, instead of getting those tiny little portions of elk and buffalo, of doing the shared 3-man, 3-pound steak experience where they bring a giant New York strip steak loin that's cut anywhere from 2 to 4.5 pounds out for you. But nobody wanted to do that for some
because
reason.
that's just like, I don't trust anything where the selling point is the size of the item. If somewhere's like, hey, you got to go to Joe's, Food Shack. They've got a meter-long corn dog you can buy, and it's like, well, who the fuck's gonna eat this? What is that the selling point? Like, I noticed that you didn't say like this is a really good tasting corn dog, or they have the finest sausages, or they hand pull
delicious.
their own things. That was just one guy who was like, fuck, Teddy's Custom Sausages packing our shit in. Ever since they opened up, what can we do? Well, we don't have the skill to compete, but we can make a goddamn huge corn dog and hope that children badger their parents enough to keep us in business. And that's what they did. This fictitious restaurant that I'm talking about now, that sells big corn dogs. In
I've been
competition.
eating like such shit. We've got to slow down. I feel like I can feel my insides don't like it.
You deep fried a piece of candy the other day.
I deep fried a lot of pieces of candy.
Yeah, that was something that
You didn't like,
there's no excuse.
that?
I
was too
like
much.
the flavor of it, but it's also there's no
Where-
excuse.
Did you
can't
bring
eat
a
it. There's-
deep fryer? Or did he come to your place? Or
No, I got a we got a house, so it's fully stocked kitchen, and I use this service called Instacart. They deliver groceries to your home, and I just had some peanut oil and supplies delivered for free. You don't tip those people either, and I just fried them there in the kitchen. You freeze the candy first, batter it, fry it in oil, and you're good to go.
So I thought deep frying, in my head, it was like a special equipment. It held like a gallon of oil. And did you deep fry like on an open flame or something? Or does it come with, the house came with a deep fryer?
Deep fry is just whenever the food is submerged in the oil.
Okay.
So like those big deep fryers, the purpose of that, of course, is that you're lowering a whole fucking turkey, and it's got to be really specialized.
Right, that's what's in my head.
But you can do it. You can deep fry on your stovetop with just 2 inches of oil, because it's a candy bite that's an inch thick. So it'll.
Was it a Jolly Rancher? Because that's what I'm picturing.
No. You do chocolates and stuff like that, like chocolate, Twinkie, butter. You can do ice cream.
Deep fried
like
butter.
That. Yes, deep fried stick of butter. You freeze a stick of butter for overnight with a skewer stuck halfway through it. Batter that shit up, fry it, and.
Are you gonna do that?
I ate 2 sticks last night.
If I married Kyle, I would happily weigh 450 pounds. I would just.
I don't think you'd happily weigh that.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds pretty cool.
Down from 700. I didn't eat the butter last night, but I did eat like a crackle and some Snickers and some Reese's and stuff. I got like an assortment of candy and just froze it all for 4 hours and then fried a few pieces. It was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, we do need to slow down on the shit though, because I feel like my body's like almost, it's in near revolt. Like, when you're playing Civ or Total War Warhammer, and it's like your civilizations, they're getting rowdy. Like they're not going to riot yet, but they're discontented. They're not happy. That's what all my organs are doing. Like my digestive tract, like they're in displeasure. The bowels are in full riot. They're totally rioting. But I need to eat like a fucking carrot or something. Jesus, I'm gonna die. You ate like 30 incredibly hot wings last night or something like that. I tasted one of the ones he ordered, and tears were pouring down my face for a solid like 2 minutes, to the point it wasn't like I could dry my face once and be good, because tears were flowing. And I'm just like, how the fuck are you just like chowing down on these?
Did Taylor eat them like they were just French fries or something? Like
he ate boxes of them.
Wow.
They were so good.
I don't. Yeah, I can't relate to people who had that superpower. Like I've had things before where like you just tip it on your, like just touch it to your tip of your tongue, and you going for water and stuff, and then this guy next to me, he was Indian, and he just ate it like it was ketchup, like it was easy to eat. It was
the flavor's called Wild, if anybody out there is a Buffalo Wild Wings connoisseur, and then his secondary flavor was mango habanero, and he was like, oh yeah, that one's not hot at all. And I was like, oh, well, give me 3 or 4 of those. And like, I ate one of those after just having recovered from the Wild. So I was already pretty fucked up. Same thing, just tears flowing. Your asshole must just really take a beating. You got to put Vaseline on it.
No, it's asbestos butthole.
It's calloused like a day worker's hands.
Damn. They were so good, spicy. They were not good, no. What was good was like the medium ones, the honey barbecue, the hot honey mustard, the ones that were like flavorful and savory, not the ones that were so much spice and hot that it like damages your tongue.
You liked the Asian ones though. I told you those would be,
the Asian zing was tasty. Yeah. Sure. I like hot wings.
I do too. I like eating meat off of bone. It's very,
I've noticed
this is how it should be.
I've noticed that you're not an early riser. Is that a common thing, or is that just a vacation thing?
It's a vacation thing, or just whenever thing.
I have a hot wing eating technique. Are you guys familiar with how to eat the wings? You press it on the plate to sort of break it, and then you pull it out, and you can get a thing. I'll have to show you in person. I used to play ice hockey with a guy who was a hot wing eating champion from Buffalo. And he's like, you guys might not know this is how you eat a wing. Because I always only like the drumsticks, because everything else, like, how do you even eat that fucking double bone bullshit thing?
The wing?
Yeah, the wing itself. And he's like, you do this. And he's like, you just sort of break the seal. I am the Merca lobster of hot wings.
Yeah, I've seen you do it. You're very good at it.
Yeah, I've never done it. I actually prefer the wing ones more.
Really?
Because I don't know why. because you know that little like flap of skin or whatever that's on the top of the wing that always gets crispy and good. You're a guaranteed good bite there. Sometimes the drummy ones, you get one where you know, like, wow, this was a fucked up chicken. We've got a lot of growth hormone, and this is a leg that if I saw this chicken walking around, or rather dragging this enormous behemoth leg behind its shriveled little body, I'd be like, ew, who would eat that chicken leg? And then it shows up in Buffalo Wild Wings, but still good.
Or it has muscle on one side of
day.
it. You're like, what horrific accident did this chicken get into? That all its muscles are. It has like a quad but no hamstring, and you're like, well, all right, quad it is.
Poor chicken.
Yeah, those you watch, you know those clips where you see they walk through the chicken coops and they pick up the shitty ones and just like throw them in a big vat and just go kill them or get rid of them or whatever. Like, it's easy to watch that for like 2 seconds and be like, oh, that's kind of cruel and a little too harsh, until you think about, like, imagine being 7 hours into your first day of work in the chicken coop, picking up the retarded ones and throwing them in like a box. Like, you'd realize every time, like, these aren't even alive. Like, I don't even think of these as things. Like, you know, you're laughing, but you know what I mean. I mean, you
absolutely
you have plenty of chicken experience.
Oh yeah, they're not real creatures. Just think of them as like plants or something. It's like mowing grass. Just take it. Don't even consider it.
Oh, sure. Then he meets Henrietta, and everything changes.
That's exactly what happened. We took one chicken and we socialized with it rather than having a herd out there, or what we've done before, which is like place the chickens out in the field at like 500 yards, 600 yards, 700 yards, and they'll just sit there. They're not going to walk around, you know, especially if it's cold, and, you know, start sniping them out with a 308 or something. They go poof. Just you get a nice, like, it's like you hit a feather pillow, the poof of white feathers. And then the coyotes are going to come for what's left, and you get to shoot at them. And then the birds come for them, and you get to shoot at the birds.
And then the wolves come for them, and then the spider monkeys come for them, and then the bears come for the spider monkeys.
Then eventually the game warden comes to see what all the hullabaloo's about, and you get him too.
And they serve all the meat at Buck Hunt, whatever the restaurant.
There was a picture of a man on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it was so much overkill, the amount of dead animals they had in that place. Like, it was so much that it made the room feel smaller because of so much stuff protruding from every side. Like, they were very high ceilings, but it didn't feel like that. Where it was like
a forest, low-hanging limbs.
It's like, drop a deer and put up a mirror, would you? You know, give us a little elbow.
Exactly. Put a mirror up. Jesus Christ, open this place up a little bit. You don't have to still abide by we stick by our feng shui from 1893 when we open these doors. My great-grandfather, or whatever she would sound like.
It sounds like they
like
survived the Great Depression, though. Like, maybe something cool did happen there. Like,
I don't know.
You know, Taylor's like, they didn't have to earn that, but maybe they did. Maybe all the other restaurants dropped off during the Great Depression, and these guys with their magnificent, like, fake rattlesnake survived.
They've been serving chicken as rattlesnake for over 100 years.
There was a scenario where Chiz was sitting and not paying attention, and a gentleman looked at him and says, he's like, "You're next, son? What, are you stoned or sleepy?" It just popped in my head. That was funny.
How did he answer? Do you recall?
He was like,
neither, both. I don't know. You know,
he didn't say anything.
Yeah, it would have been funny. A little of this, a little of that. You know, it's good here.
It was very early in the morning. It was far too early for anyone to be stoned. But yeah, I'm surprised. You're like sleeping till like noon, 1 o'clock. Like today, last night we went to sleep at 2 a.m. and I woke up at 7 a.m. and then I was like, this is a little too early. And I slept to like maybe 1 more hour. I got up at 8:30, showered, and like we sat around. I cleaned the whole house up, and then like it was 10, and I was like, where the fuck is he? And by this time, Chiz has finally taken his shower and gotten ready for the day, and finally we went out for like an hour and a half, and we're driving around doing stuff, and we're like, I hope Chiz isn't. I hope Taylor isn't awake, wondering where we are. And it's like, well, he's gonna sleep. He's gonna sleep, sleeping all day.
Fine. Yeah, I woke up and then was just like, I walked out and I was like, is anybody here? Anybody? And then walked out and the car's gone. I'm like, all right, that's neat. That's okay. And then just took a shower. It was no big deal. But I like sleeping because I feel almost like it's time lost and like sleep that I won't get back if I have like a totally open time. Like if I wake up at like 9 in the morning and I know like I have nothing to do today, like
Get up at 9 and
like
we'll
another
do stuff.
hour, another
Do
2
early
hours.
morning stuff. Yeah, get up with me. We'll do the things.
All right,
I'm
we'll
just
do
sitting
the-
around watching TV with Chiz. Yeah, there's nothing to do.
You guys
I
can
gotta
go
ta-
all night.
That's what you missed, though, right? Like if you get up to, I feel like you should promise an activity. Or like, oh, we'll do the things. Yeah, dude, you don't know. We got, Thundercats.
Well, no, the waiting is because we're like waiting on Taylor to get up so that we can plan the next like activity or see what Kitty wants to do or see if her friends are gonna come over.
Then I'll be up the same time as you tomorrow morning. That will make that work.
All right, 5
I'll be
a.m.
up slightly after you tomorrow morning.
All right.
Why
very
don't
good.
you just give him permission to wake you, and then you don't really have a problem?
Oh, you don't want that.
No, if you wake me up in a rude way, I am off kilter and salty for at least a few. Your whole morning with me will be ruined. I'll just be a snarky asshole. Like when I do have to wake people up, I try and just like do it. Like that's I always, if the Bible taught me one thing, that golden rule of treat people the way you want to be treated, I employ that every time I wake somebody up, like to the point of it being like creepy, where I don't know the person well enough, and I'll be like, Karen, you gotta go.
Last
That's
time we
the
were out
example
here.
he uses.
Last time we were out here, it was the final day, and it was like the sun had risen, and I knew Chiz's like train was leaving at like 7 a.m. or something like that, or he had to be up at 7 a.m. something like that. And I hear Chiz's alarm go off, and it's super annoying. And it goes off, and it goes off, and it goes off, and like 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck. And I'm like, well, he's not going to make his thing. So finally, I go in there, and I knock on his door. Wait, nothing. Pound on his door. Nothing. Finally, I like cracked it. I'm like, hey. And he's got, and when I open it, I could really hear what's going on. He's got, and there's a podcast going real loud, like Joe Rogan's fucking blaring in there. And I'm like, Chiz. And he goes, I'm like, you gotta go, buddy. He goes, no. And I closed the door. He didn't remember any of that shit. I brought that up just the other day, and he was like, oh, really? Oh, I had no idea.
That's funny. I remember
He'd
early
never
on in my relationship with Jackie, like she'd hit the snooze button, right? We're sleeping in the same bed. She snoozes 3 times. It's like, woman, this is unacceptable. Snooze button is for single people. You can't just fuck up 27 minutes of somebody else's sleep like you're alone here.
That
Yeah.
is so true, and I have been a dastardly culprit of that before.
Oh.
Where I have left snoozes on for so long, and then later you realize, like, oh man, I just kind of fucked the last hour and a half for them, like, because they had to sleep in between my every 7-minute burst of half of a dumb song that comes default on the phone.
Yeah, it's not fair to the other person.
No, not at all. Not at all fair. Other than that, I think what other activities do we have planned, Kyle? If I can tear myself away from this wonderful bed.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Airsoft.
Oh, we're not going to be able to drag Chiz to Airsoft. We might literally drag Chiz to Airsoft.
I know, but he can't hear us now. I don't
You
know.
can hear
Maybe.
me. I can see him in there. He's a little twitchy.
Okay,
Um,
well,
I
you know
don't- I
what?
don't-
If we can't bring Chiz to Airsoft, we can bring the Airsoft to Chiz. You and I, when we do wake up early tomorrow morning, zoot on out to whatever close by store. We pick up a couple of the cheap ones, not the ones that like hurt, but the ones that hurt enough that he's not happy with it, and then just hold that little trigger down and ying 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 ying, shoot him like
Talking
that.
about
What
a
if,
sleepy
what
time
if you
attack.
armed him, right? You could give him a pistol with a Post-it note saying "Defend yourself," and now you got a game.
I would put
Most dangerous game.
I'd make a series of obstacle courses he had to get through, and I think designing an obstacle course for Chiz could be one of the easiest things ever. I think I'd put it 30 feet away on the ground, and then maybe I'd close the door between him and
You put like a mattress on the floor.
yes, I'd pour
4 steps.
4 steps.
That would do it.
Is but is he on the second floor? You guys have, what is the place like? Is it 1 story, 2 story?
It's 1 story with a basement. That's got bedrooms down there.
Yeah.
So,
I had walked into the basement until like a few minutes ago,
Same.
where Chiz is staying. That's nice.
Yeah,
He's got a
he's got
TV
his own.
down there.
Yeah, he's got his own little house down there. I had
A
no
washing
idea.
machine.
Washing
That happened
machine.
on the whitewater rafting trip too. Like we were both upstairs, and then like Chiz just managed to get the floor to himself. It was the basement, but
Yeah,
it was,
there's
like, it's
one
not bad.
extra bed down there, and it wasn't even listed on the thing. It's literally like a clown blanket on a like whatever the tiniest mattress that is made, whatever that is, a cot, and it's like tucked in behind the stairs, Harry Potter style. I was looking at the laundry, and I was like, holy shit, someone would sleep back there. Oh fuck, that would be the worst ever. It's such a depressing little bedroom.
It's like,
ever
you know,
put anyone
a
there.
series of unfortunate events. That whole series and everything, that looks like the little bed that Count Olaf's gives to the Baudelaire children when they show up and they're forced to sleep there. Nobody else knows that series? I figured
do.
you...
If I brought my dogs, that's where we'd have put them. They'd have their own little bed down there.
Oh, they'd have their own bed down there, would they? Or whatever the voice sounds like.
Yo, small.
Kind of know that changes a little bit. I don't even know.
Yo, my bed's better.
Ugh.
Yeah, dude.
I'm amused how much Taylor hates that accent.
Oh,
No, because I can tell how far back your tongue is in your mouth
Uh-huh.
when you're doing it, and it bothers me. It sounds like you're about to swallow it. You're about to
Oh,
swallow
no.
it on top. Like, no.
Oh no, it goes back much further, precious.
So what's new in Woody's world other than being sick?
Sick dominates my world right now. I've been flying a lot, which is a thing my wife doesn't like. Like I'm sick. I don't feel well. I drag myself out, have fun for an hour, then like collapse on the bed. Like, oh,
That's what's
I
making you
barely
sick.
made it. That you know,
Flying
you sound like
Were you out
Jackie.
in the wind? Well, I did fly for a while.
Yeah, I've had 3 flights in the last like 3 days or something.
cheers.
And but I am awful sick, I swear. And I'm trying to think. Oh, it's warm out, which is part of why I'm taking advantage
Eat a
of it.
clove of garlic. A whole clove.
It's 73 degrees tomorrow, 71 today. Like that's good weather.
Yeah, it's really nice weather here.
Yeah.
Global warming, we're in that sweet spot.
Right. Global warming's
this
cool
is-
in February.
If we're breaking it down for real, like I think we're all like we all know like even if this gets like disastrous out of control, we're gonna be fine. Like worst case scenario, we're all 70s, 80s, whatever, and we get to kind of see the calamitous stuff where it's like we could then be the people who talk to the people who are coming up. Like, wow, you mean back in your day there were 4 seasons, not 1.5? And it's like, yeah, it wasn't just the long winter when I was a boy, whatever. Like I'm looking forward to it a little bit. I'm not worried about it. Like maybe my kids I'd be concerned.
Yeah, I don't
about.
care.
I don't have kids.
Yeah,
So let's
they
see
made
where
us
the roll of
abolish the
dice.
EPA. We'll see. May not be an EPA pretty soon.
Rick Perry, I trust what Rick Perry is going to do.
That's
with
energy.
this. I think he knows 100%. He's
Yeah.
That's
informed.
energy. That's energy,
That's
not
energy.
EPA. Yeah, but
What's new with that? I haven't followed in the last couple days at all.
no.
Any new things? I know Betsy DeVos.
Yeah, that's
she
the
got
latest thing. So Betsy DeVos, for people who don't know, has spent a lifetime advocating alternatives to public schools. And things like vouchers and charter schools and things like that. Someone put it, some Democrat said it. He's like, if we needed to elect someone to lead the war against public schools, she would be ideal. But to lead public schools, she's the opposite of perfect, is what they say. Now, 16 years ago, I voted for W because of his voucher idea. And let me lay it out there. I probably said this before, but it's cool. If you wanted to start a business today, like Taylor, the young entrepreneur, says, you know what, I'm going to start a school. And that's going to be the business that I create. It's a terrible idea because you're competing with free. It's very difficult for you to launch a new school and expect to have any kind of success in it. But if those public school kids could take the vouchers, the tax money that would otherwise go to their public school, and show up at Taylor's school, then schools would pop up all over the place. Maybe a musically based school or a technology school or a school for kids with special needs or who knows what, right? But kids could take their tax money that they would otherwise go to public school and pick this entrepreneurial school, and then suddenly we've injected capitalism into the school system. And 16 years ago, I thought this was a really neat idea. I'm like, oh, this is great. We can't lose. Now, I guess I'm just a little more nervous about it. Like, I'm not sure that this idea that I loved I still love. I don't know. But if I wanted to improve the school system, I think I'd do something way easier and guaranteed. And that's just like fucking put a bomb on the tenure system. right? The idea that what happens now is some 22-year-old fresh-faced, kid comes out of college. They do a good job for 3 years until they're 25. You get tenure. And now for the next 40, their job is guaranteed. Like, that 65-year-old version of them is a totally different person than the 25-year-old. Like, why are you on the hook to give these people tenure? And then unless they literally fuck children, they just get to keep their jobs forever. Not figuratively fuck them. You can do that. Literally fuck them. I would
can figuratively fuck them by providing horrible education
Yes.
at public schools across the country because they're like, hey, should I make a new PowerPoint where Pluto isn't a planet? Fuck it. Run the same one. It doesn't matter with these kids. They can learn 9 planets. They'll figure it out.
So there it is. I've done my best to present both sides. Like, the voucher thing isn't completely crazy, Inject capitalism into the schools. Maybe you'll get better schools. And then on the other hand, I don't know. I do worry about just completely blowing up what we've done for the last 200 years.
As long as everybody's got more choices, I think it's good.
We went to the hockey game. We watched the Avalanche play who'd they play?
Oh,
just based on this, Avalanche lost, right?
No, they destroyed.
Oh, did they? I didn't expect.
Yeah, they've got the longest win streak of the year. 2 games.
They won their second game in a row. It was the Winnipeg Jets that they played, and it was a lot of fun. We had good seats. Kyle, you and Chiz seemed to both enjoy the game for the most part.
I enjoyed the free beer. I know you probably didn't think that I was enjoying it because I only drank like 3 beers, and you must have drank like 9 fucking beers. We were double. So because of our seats, we got like these gold wristbands, and it was like all you can drink beer and all you can eat
these
food.
Seats?
Just paid for them.
Oh, so you just lived with a pig.
Mm-hmm.
And we go down to the Lexus room where there's like a whole bar that's ours. You just order whatever alcohol you want, and so you can double fist beers, go back up to your seat, kill them, and then go back and get 2 more if you want. That was Taylor. Taylor was so happy about that. I could tell that it was.
Yeah, that was nice.
My favorite part about that was watching Taylor really enjoy himself because he was just like, I got hockey. The players are right fucking there, and I got a beer in each hand. He was in heaven.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I was hoping that it would get real rough between the Jets and the Avs because neither one is like, we're going to the playoffs. But then there were no big fights or anything, but there were a couple enormous hits that we saw where there was like your impression of seeing it live. You had fun with the game itself.
Yeah, my favorite part was making sure that my girlfriend didn't get hit in the head with a puck. I was like, keep your eye on the puck because it'll fuck you up. And Taylor's like, yeah, look at this. This is what happens when you get hit in the face with a puck. And it's like this player's pretty girlfriend with a big scar on the side of her face, all stitched up. And I'm like, yeah, that'll be you. And she's like, baby, will you pay to fix my face if I get hit with a puck? And I went, yeah, but we're not gonna, 10 to 15,000 tops. So you better be on the lookout. And so the whole game, and they flicked at least 3 left the play area and didn't get caught by the net. Went into the fucking crowd. At least
quite
3.
a few happened. Like it was something that I thought was funny because I've never been to a hockey game with a group of people who had never really been, and so the whole look out for the puck thing never had to be established. But they put up on the thing like a warning where it's like, warning, the Pepsi Center is not responsible for anyone injured or whatever the fuck by flying pucks. So keep an eye out, viewers or whatever.
And then 5 minutes later, one hits a lady in the second row, and it's like, we're in the second row. This is no good.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we didn't get hit, so it panned out okay.
I bet 15 years from now, they're going to be shocked at how barbaric it was, back in the 2017s and pucks could get into the crowd.
Yeah. I mean, it was only back in 2004 when they didn't even have that net behind the glass.
That was
And then that lady in Columbus had to go and die.
I look back on that and say that was insane. So, Kyle, you know how there's nets behind where they shoot, right?
Oh, I know all about this. They could just sail them out full speed.
Well, it was typically a deflection, right? They crush it, and they don't miss the net by so much that it goes into the crowd. But they really commonly, a player will touch it with their stick or a knee pad or who knows what, and it's still going 60 miles an hour when it hits people. And if you've never touched a hockey puck, it's curiously heavy and dense,
Dense.
and they're frozen, so they don't bounce much. And
they're harder.
It's really bad.
It's harder. You know, it's. My roommate had one, and I remember picking it up the first time, and being like, "God damn!" Like that. Okay.
I'm guessing it wasn't frozen. You know?
No, of course not. No,
Yeah.
he just had it on the shelf.
Yeah.
He got one from a game.
You freeze it, it's that much worse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
that was a good one though. I was happy to see the Colorado win because you could really tell that win means a lot to those
when
players.
they won, they started skating around and celebrating and like holding their hands up in the air like they just won, like I don't know, the division or something. And the crowd was like, "Fuck yeah! All right, that's what we're talking about right there. A W, yeah!" Like it was a big fucking
There's
deal.
win number 14. Yeah, like
Yeah, it was a big deal in Colorado when they got that win. So yeah, I guess that was fun. I'm glad we did that.
Oh, there was a football game.
Oh, that was less fun. Man, the Falcons come out, score like 28 unanswered points. The half ends like 28-3. They shut Brady down like 4 or 5 times. They're sacking him left and right. And I even said at one point, like, man, I hope they're not like blowing everything they've got in the second half. Like they got to come back first half. They got to come back in the second half with like just a little something to
Meanwhile,
finish.
Brady's like, "Oh yeah. What do we need? 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, and a field goal. Hold my beer."
yeah, we can get it.
And off he goes.
It was shocking. It was shocking to watch it happen. Step by step, the exact things that were needed for them to win the ball game. And at one point, I remember saying, like, even before it happened, I was like, it would be nice to see him win his 5th fucking Super Bowl. And to like overcome the year of the Deflategate where they take 4 games away, and he comes back and wins a goddamn Super Bowl. I like that almost as much. I like that almost as much as I like having the Atlanta Falcons win one. So fuck it. I guess I'm almost as happy that the Patriots won.
Well,
I like Bill Belichick. I like his don't give a shit attitude. Doing this press interviews that he's obligated to do. He's out there and they ask him this complex question where someone who likes speaking publicly could get colorful with it and like offer different scenarios. Well, this could happen, that could happen, but hey, we're really going to focus on this part of the game and let that be said. They could have fun with it and give you a quote, but he's just like they're like, "Bill, we noticed that Julio Jones is just incredibly fast. How do you deal with that speed in your secondary of your defense? Defense got to play hard, not just secondary either. We got to play hard as a ball team. That's what we'll do on Sunday."
And it's just total non-answers.
Yeah, total non-answer. He's like, "I'm giving you fucking nothing. I hope you don't quote me. The only thing I want you to write is Patriots win. Suck a dick."
It was funny watching
Now, if
Kyle,
you'll excuse
how
me, I have
little
some practices to film.
you cared so little that you couldn't even commit to the bandwagon, to where at the end of the second or middle of the second quarter when it was 21-3, you were just sitting there and you're like, I remember you saying, "Man, Falcons are going to win the Super Bowl. That's really neat." And then, they started scoring, and you didn't even bitch about like, "That's ridiculous," until the end. You were just like, "Man, it's gonna be kind of cool to see him get his 5th Super Bowl." Like that's him. Like, man, I was like, God, you can't even care enough to finish it out. Like you're a bandwagon mid-game from team to team. You have a Patriots hat, and then you got your Falcons jersey.
Yeah, absolutely. It really, because I saw the Falcons were going to win, and I was like, well, what do I get when the Falcons win anyway? It's like, oh, we're winning the Super Bowl. But I do like seeing dynasties be formed. I like seeing history be made. And I don't think it's an argument anymore. I don't know much about football, but Tom Brady's got to be the greatest quarterback of all time now. You got to just say it. I think, and I would lean on the experts of football, and I would guarantee that a lot of them are saying the same thing. They were saying it before the game. You don't think they're saying it now after greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, first overtime win in Super Bowl history, 5th champ to win his 5th ring. As an older guy, he's the greatest quarterback ever.
I guess it depends on how you measure him, right? He's obviously the most successful quarterback ever, right? But then you get guys like Dan Marino that some would argue were better quarterbacks. They just didn't have the same teams around them.
5 times.
I hear you. Yeah. And that goes back to how you measure it, right? Like 0 times for Marino. but I think he has the most passing yards in a season ever. He has, unless
Great receivers.
Peyton Manning broke that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who's the best. I don't really follow football that closely, but you could certainly make an argument for it. It used to be when Tom Brady had like 2 or 3 rings, people were still like, he's not even good. He sucks. Yeah, he sucks. He's just lucky he's on
Now
that
he's got a
team.
whole hand.
Right. Now he's
got a
trying to
whole
figure out how
hand.
to do a
Whole
thumb
hand.
ring.
I hope he said that. He was like, make that one extra big. That's my thumb ring. And he's planning ahead. You know he is. He's like, if I got this whole hand, they have to make me like a helmet or something, like
Yeah.
a crown to wear for my 11th Super Bowl win,
Usually-
or a big pendant.
Guys at that age are like, should I retire? Should I get out? Like he had a better year than he did last year. Like he numerically, I forget the stats of it, but in like 5 different important categories, he's a better athlete now than he used to be. He's
Got 4
not
months rest.
looking for the door. He's like
4
yeah.
weeks.
Say you think it's
He
the
got a
4
little
weeks?
bit of a rest at the beginning of the season, right? He didn't have to play those first 4 games. He got a serious.
I had wondered
preseason.
that. Like if you could offer him next year, like, hey, I'll tell you what, you get the first 4 weeks off, and your team will be 3-1. You take that deal?
Yeah.
And I think he might be like, yeah, we'll kick it off with a 3-1 every
Well, it
year.
depends who you're playing. If that one loss is not in the division, then yeah, they take it.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. 3-1's a pretty good start. Usually, you win 75% of your games.
Although they usually start out 12-0 or something like that because it's fucking incredible. I don't know. It was fun to watch. I didn't see a single Super Bowl commercial that I thought was noteworthy. Very pitiful year for the Super Bowl. Glad Lady Gaga didn't get political at all. I see that like the hyper leftists are calling her out. They're calling her a Becky or something, which I guess is something those cunts call women they don't like for not speaking
Becky?
out.
They
A
call-
Becky. Just let's just move past it. I guess I didn't catch it, but I guess she like was floated down from the top of the building down to the stage. I didn't catch the halftime show. We were outside tending to a fire or something like that. But I don't know. The game was good. It was very impressive. It's a shame the Falcons didn't win, but it's incredibly impressive, and it's cool to have watched Tom Brady.
Did you just
fucking come
figure out
back.
tending to a fire?
No, I was saying, Kyle was saying it's a shame they lost, but also not a shame that Tom Brady was able to win and get 5. And it's almost annoying how little you care. Like if the Cardinals are in the World Series, like even though I don't care about baseball at all, if they lose in the World Series, it's still like they did to Boston a few years back.
They didn't
it was
win,
still
so
like,
they didn't deserve.
oh,
The way I
oh,
look
damn.
at it, the way I look at it is like, I'm glad they didn't win almost, because if they didn't have enough talent, heart, drive, expertise, coaching, whatever it took to close out a 28-3 lead, then they didn't deserve a fucking Super Bowl win. Tom Brady deserved that ring because when he went into that locker room down 28-3 against an explosive offense, and after he'd been hit like 6 or 8 times or something and sacked like 4 or 5 times by an amazingly fast defense, it looked like they weren't slowing down even at the close of the half. He still went in there and came out with the mindset of, let's go to work. Time to win. This is what I do. The math is easy. Here it is. This is how we win. Now we execute. And he fucking did it. Meanwhile, the Falcons were like, well, let's just, let's not lose. Let's not lose. Instead of let's get 14 more on the board. Let's get 21 more on the board. Yeah, let's pull a trick play here and
they were
go
playing
for it on
not to
4th down.
lose in that second half.
And they didn't have the speed and they didn't have the passion and fire that they had in the first. If football were played, instead of 4 quarters, if it was 2 quarters, the Falcons played their asses off for 2 quarters, better than any team in the league could have this year. I would say it was amazing to watch. It was fun to watch. But second half Falcons were a fucking dog shit team, and they got stomped on by professionals.
Yeah.
It was, so I he deserved it. You can't argue that the Falcons deserved it. It's not like one of those situations from a few. I don't even remember the teams, but I remember a few Super Bowls back, maybe 5, 6, 7. It was like a yard or 2 yards that stopped a game-winning drive at the end of the game, and it was like really a downer.
The Ravens
even if
and the
you won.
Titans, that one, or the
Perhaps.
Seahawks one. Okay.
I don't remember it all, but it wasn't
was
like
Ravens,
that. They just got outplayed.
Titans lost by 7 against the Ravens, right? Am I crazy?
I don't know. But
When?
10 years ago, something like that.
I don't know. I know the Titans lost on the 1 yard line against the Rams in 2000.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Sure, I remember it being like a yard or something on the goal line. But yeah, the Falcons didn't deserve it, so I don't care that they didn't get it. That's the way I look at it. Because they had it. It was in the palm of their hand. All they had to do was execute. They weren't being asked to go above and beyond. That's what was being asked of the Patriots. The Falcons' job was play good, smart football. The Patriots' job was do something no one has ever done before, ever, under the greatest microscope and pressure.
You're right.
And don't make a single misstep. And then they just did it. So Patriots deserved it. Patriots won it. And Tom Brady's like a football god now, and he'll be remembered forever. Like maybe we can argue because we don't know much about football, for one thing. But I bet 25 years from now, people are like, yeah, that Tom Brady guy, like, what the fuck? 8 fucking Super Bowl championships, 18 Pro Bowl appearances. Like, he's not, like you said.
You think he's got 3
improved.
more Super Bowls in him?
If he wins them concurrently.
How old is he?
39, is
30.
39.
Kyle, do you know?
I don't know. I know his wife's hot. They zoomed in on her a lot. She was losing her shit when they won. It was fun. It was fun to see how happy she was. She was so happy and celebrating and like filming, like herself do this and like be happy. And she drops her fucking caseless iPhone, and you know it hit concrete in those bleachers.
Yeah, I'm sure she's fine.
I was like, dude, yeah.
Well, you can get another phone
your
with
day's
your
not perfect.
Yeah, with your $10 million Super Bowl bonus that your husband got or whatever.
Her assistant
God
will get her
knows
phone
what it
squared
was.
away for her, and she'll be all right.
I said that early in the game because the Falcons coach was like so happy, you could tell. And I was like, can you imagine what his bonus is for winning a Super Bowl on his contract? Like Bill Belichick's contract is probably like a Subway thing where he punches out Super Bowl wins, and when he gets he gets a piece of the stadium or something like that. But
you own Section 102. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a part owner at that point for one more Super Bowl. But with the Falcons, that guy, God knows what it was, but it easily could have been another $100,000, $200,000, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. It could be. It was probably a beautiful little signing
I bet it
bonus
was in the millions
for getting a Super Bowl, and he watched that evaporate. I don't know how that happened. We watched it happen in front of us, and it happened so slowly and so meticulously. It wasn't like, oh, the Falcons just aren't performing. That's error. It was just that it was exactly what I kept saying, that like at some point Tom Brady is just going to start acting like a machine, because that's what he is, and it's just going to be 10 yards, 12 yards, 15 yards, 4 yards, run, 10 yards, touchdown, rinse and repeat. And he's just going to keep fucking doing that to them, and he did. It was impressive.
Yeah, no one talks about his
Good
bad
Super Bowl.
first half, though. Like, Tom Brady's the man. His quarterback rating was
He
like
didn't have a bad
65
first
in the first half.
Because of the defense. Because the defense didn't save anything. Because the Falcons' defense didn't save anything for the swim back. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened there. They were whipping his ass the whole time. And the coverage, the corners were playing great. The deep coverage seemed to be good. They took him off his feet. He couldn't do anything. And then it seemed like they were burnt out and conservative in the second half and not blitzing as much. But what do I know? They lost, so they deserved to lose.
All right, then. So we're at 58 minutes.
It was a good Super Bowl as far as it went. Like I watched part of last year's Super Bowl, and maybe it was only like the first quarter and a half that I watched before I was like, this is stupid. Like, this sucks. Like, there's no, like, I don't know. It's disappointing when the Super Bowl sucks, even though I don't care that much about football, because it's like it's supposed to be the one thing every year that's awesome with sports, because it's like there's no series, that's the coolest thing about football playoffs. It's like every game is like, oh, you really fucked up. This isn't hockey or basketball or baseball where you can be like, all right, we'll get him next game. It's like, no, that mistake, you just cost us a touchdown. Yeah, you might be the guy that all of, I don't know, Baltimore hates until next season. Like, the stakes are so high. Like, I get stressed out watching the quarterbacks sometimes.
It kind of feels in college football.
Was it the Dodgers'
every
first
game
baseman?
is like
that. The what?
Who, Kyle?
Either one.
In college football, every game is like that. Like, they have to go 13-0, 13-1 at the worst, like, just to make the playoffs in college football. Like, you lose a game, like, the whole season could be blown because it's so hard to get into those championship games. In pro football, at least you can lose 4 games You're still in the playoffs, and you're still doing okay.
5. You can get the wild card. You can
Yeah.
you can lose a lot of games.
You're right, but
It's
in
very
college,
forgiving. It's
dude,
more about postseason.
You lose one game in college.
Well, they got the playoff system now, so it's less forgiving, right? And
More
and the
forgiving,
games
but-
are weighted because of the BCS system. That so if you're a powerhouse and you've crushed Alabama and Texas, but you lost to, I mean, this year Clemson was the champion, but
Right.
oftentimes they're kind of a piddling lower level team. You lose to a shitty team, then they're like, oh, well, they just had a bad off week, and they weigh it that way rather than being like, loss is a loss is a loss. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
They've got
it
some
kinda helps
computer
SEC
algorithm that
teams.
does all that bullshit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be getting.
Yeah, you're playing against some tough competition. Yeah, although last year maybe not so much. SEC
Yeah, last year
seemed pretty
SEC
weak.
East was rough. Like
Yeah,
it was,
Georgia had a
Georgia
rough
was the
time.
best team or one of the best teams there, and they were not even good.
Exactly.
Mizzou
yeah.
quit halfway through the season, I think.
Did
They
they?
just stopped playing. No,
Oh.
no, they just were terrible.
Did that not happen
We're gonna
like
go
a
play
year
baseball.
before? Like because of the whole racist thing? What am I making?
No, they
that
were
up?
better last year than they were this year.
Remember, there was like some thought of the Mizzou team walking out because
Oh, that wasn't like a school thing or they're so bad at football. It was like, hey, we're not going to play because of the Black Lives Matter or whatever. And then they were
Right.
like, all right, well, you know that like you're not here on a chemistry scholarship, right? Like, so you're going to have to go out there and play if you want to keep living here. And they're like, all right, like, but just rest assured, like, I'm very upset by the happenings and I will be at practice on Monday.
Oh, and I don't want to. I don't think we should talk about it and spoil it for this show. But maybe for PK, we could do some movie talk. We watched a movie called Split. It's M. Night Shyamalan's new movie.
Was it
And,
good? Please tell me it's
On that,
good.
Let's save that for PK.
All right, so Taylor did not like it. I liked it, and Chiz liked it. So
It's in theaters
take
now.
that. It's in theaters now. I'll say this about it without spoiling anything. Multiple personalities is a main aspect of it. One of the characters has, and the character who has that does an incredible acting job. It's James McAvoy, I think his name is. He's the one
Yeah.
who plays the young Professor Xavier, Professor X in the new X-Men movies. So he's switching personalities on the fly. At least a dozen times.
he has a great performance.
It's incredible, his physical transformation. I don't know if they're using CGI. I know they're using CGI at some points, but I don't know if he actually like filmed certain parts of it when he was leaner and then he bulked up for certain parts. Maybe not, but I thought this was really good by Shyamalan and a return. It's as good as something like Unbreakable that he's done before. It's not The Sixth Sense, and it's not as good as Signs because you just didn't have a strong guy like Mel Gibson in there. But it is scary and pretty fucking dark too. I liked it.
I want to say he's done another good movie recently, and he's kind of on a
Yeah,
comeback.
The Gift. Was it The Gift, I think?
Shit. Didn't he do the one with John Goodman where they were like underground?
No, he did not. That's 11 Cloverfield Lane or 10
That is what I'm
Cloverfield
thinking
Lane or
of.
whatever.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he did that. I don't think it was a Shyamalan thing, unless maybe he produced it or in some way, but he didn't direct it.
So
But
you
that
might have been
was
thinking of
excellent.
The Visit. Is
The
that-
Visit is the one you're thinking of. Yes,
What's that?
that is a Shyamalan movie.
I don't know if I
That's
saw it. I think I might be giving him credit for a movie that I liked that he didn't have anything to do with.
Well, The Visit has good ratings, and it doesn't have anything wacky or kooky in it. It's just a good movie that he made.
Okay.
But yeah, Split. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was strong, and I thought that I don't think it had a twist ending. I wouldn't say that it did, but it has a great ending that leaves you like, wow, this is all really cool, nice. At least that's what I took away from it because of having watched his other movies and maybe liking him. I don't know. Chiz liked it too. Taylor didn't like it so much.
Yeah, it was all right, just not. I don't know. I had higher hopes. We can talk about that on PKA though, because there's a good amount to talk about. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to see a bunch of these. Call it a wrap?
Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
believe so. I'm really hungry. We need to do something about that.
About what now?
My hunger.
Ah,
Your hunger.
easily cured.
Yeah. More Grubhub.
We've introduced Taylor to Grubhub, which is basically, the Grubhub man goes out to a restaurant and brings your food to you for like $3, And that and another service basically opens it up so that you never have to leave your home. They'll bring you McDonald's, Taco Bell, Qdoba. They'll text you. They're like, "Hey, bro, I'm outside of Arby's waiting on your order. It's a madhouse in here. Stay tight." Then they get your sandwich, and they text you again. Sandwich is on the way. And like, you know, they don't want to tip or anything oftentimes because you can tip them online. The Instacart thing, which is for real hermits, so you don't have to go to the grocery store. The first order is free. You go to instacart.com. No matter you can fill up your shopping cart like a family of 6, 2 weeks worth of groceries. First one's free. And they'll just do whatever you want. Just all this stuff that they're delivering.
Oh, but not the food, just the delivery.
You pay for the food, the delivery.
I was like, how can that be a profitable model?
Oh yeah, you pay for the food. You pay for the food. But man, I like all those services. It makes the vacation really fun.
Very cool.
like
yeah.
All right.
It's really neat.
PKN, episode 130.